Let me ask you something uncomfortable. 5 years from now, where are you financially? Not where you hope to be, not where you plan to be. Where are you actually headed based on what you do every single day right now? Because here's the thing, nobody tells you your habits don't just shape your days, they determine your entire financial future. And most people are running habits perfectly designed to keep them broke or stuck at the same income level or one bad month away from crisis, and they don't even know it. Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 levels of wealth, and more importantly, the specific habits, beliefs, and daily patterns that keep people locked inside each one. You're going to recognize yourself somewhere in here, and I want you to pay attention when you do, because that moment of recognition, that's where your change begins. Let's get into it. Level 1, survival mode, $0 to $30,000 per year. The defining habit at this level is simple. You trade time for money and you never stop trading. You wake up, you go to work, you come home exhausted, you do it again. And the brutal truth is, at this level, there's almost no financial thinking happening. Because you're too tired, too stressed, and too focused on making it to Friday to think about 10 years from now. Here's what survival mode actually looks like in daily life. You avoid checking your bank account, not because you're irresponsible, but because checking it causes anxiety, and anxiety feels worse than just not knowing. You spend reactively. Something breaks, you fix it. Rent is due, you pay it. Emergency hits, you panic. Entertainment becomes your primary escape. Streaming services, social media, video games. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain is exhausted and needs to decompress, and cheap entertainment is the most available option. And your beliefs around money? They're inherited, not chosen. Wealth is for lucky people. Rich people got there by cheating. Money is the root of all evil. These stories were handed to you by your family, your neighborhood, your experience, and you've never had the space or the resources to question them. Here's the harsh truth about level 1. The habits here aren't moral failures. They're survival responses. But if you stay in survival mode mentally, even when your income grows, you'll recreate these same patterns at a higher salary. The mindset at level 1. I just need to make it through this week. The problem is every week feels the same. Level 2, stability seeker. $30,000 to $70,000 per year. At level 2, you've got a little breathing room, you're not in crisis every month. And that small amount of stability, ironically, becomes the thing that keeps most people stuck, because comfortable is dangerous. Here's what level 2 habits look like. You open a savings account. Maybe you put $50 or $100 a month in it. You feel good about that, and you should. But you're not investing, you're not building, you're storing. You get a raise, and within 6 months, you've spent it. Nicer apartment, better car, upgraded subscriptions. This is lifestyle inflation, and it is a silent killer of wealth at this level. Your income goes up, your expenses follow it, and your net worth stays flat. You compare yourself to your peers, not to people doing better than you, but to people around you. Your coworker bought a new truck, you feel pressure. Your friend went on a trip, you feel left out. You're competing in the wrong race, and you're busy, incredibly busy. But here's a question that should shake you. Are you busy making progress, or are you busy staying in place? Because at level 2, most people confuse activity with advancement. You also believe deep down that more income will solve your money problems. It won't, because without changing the habits underneath, more money just means more spending. The mindset at level 2, I'm doing okay, I think. That uncertainty, that I think, is your gut telling you something needs to change. Level 3, or the awakening. $70,000 to $150,000 per year. This is where things get interesting. This is the level where people wake up, where they discover personal finance, start reading books, binge YouTube channels like this one, and it's also where most people get completely overwhelmed and do nothing. Sound familiar? Level 3 is the most intellectually active level and often the least financially productive, because you're learning, but you're not implementing consistently. You open a Roth IRA but contribute to it randomly. You start a side hustle but abandon it after 3 months. You read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and feel fired up for 2 weeks, then slide back into old patterns. You know what compound interest is, but you're not truly leveraging it. The habits here are inconsistent, and inconsistency is just a slow version of quitting. Here's what's really happening at level 3. You've upgraded your knowledge, but not your systems. You're still relying on motivation, on feeling like doing the right financial thing, instead of building structures that make the right thing automatic. And there's another trap here, comparison, but upgraded. Now you're not comparing yourself to your neighbor. You're comparing yourself to influencers, to entrepreneurs to people who seem to have figured it all out. And that gap between where you are and where they are feels so massive that it paralyzes you. But here's what I want you to hold on to at level 3. The awakening is real. The desire is real. You just need to close the gap between knowing and doing. The mindset at level 3. I know I need to do something different. I just don't know where to start. That's not a dead end. That's the beginning. Level 4, the builder. $150,000 to $500,000 per year. This is where the game fundamentally changes, and the change isn't primarily financial, it's behavioral. At level 4, systems replace willpower. Let me say that again because it's one of the most important sentences in this entire video. Systems replace willpower. People at this level don't rely on discipline or motivation to save, invest, or make good financial decisions. They've automated those decisions so they happen whether they feel like it or not. Their savings are automatic. Their investments are automatic. They pay themselves first, before lifestyle, before fun, before anything else, and they live on what's left. That one shift alone separates most people from financial freedom. They also protect their time with an intensity that people at lower levels find almost rude. They say no, a lot. No to meetings that could be emails. No to projects that don't move the needle. No to social obligations that drain energy without adding value. Their calendar reflects their priorities, not other people's urgencies. They wake up early, not because some guru told them to, but because the quiet hours before the world wakes up are where they think, plan, and build without interruption. They read consistently. They audit their relationships intentionally. They ask a question every single day that people at level 1 never ask. How do I make this work without me? That question, that obsession with building systems, with leverage, with scalability is what moves them forward. Health becomes a priority, not a luxury, because they've learned something critical. Your body is your most important business asset. You can't build wealth from a hospital bed. The mindset at level 4. How do I create results that don't require my constant presence? That question is the bridge to the next level. Level 5, the accumulator. $500,000 to $2 million per year. At level 5, something profound has happened. Your money is working harder than you are. Income at this level is mostly passive. Equity in businesses, dividend yielding investments, real estate cash flow, royalties. You still work, but you fundamentally decoupled your time from your income. And the habits here reflect that. People at level 5 are obsessive about their energy, not just their time. They've learned that not all hours are equal. An hour when you're exhausted, distracted, or emotionally depleted is worth a fraction of an hour when you're sharp, focused, and fully present. So they structure their lives to protect peak performance. They sleep enough, they exercise without compromise, they meditate, journal, or have some daily practice that keeps them centered. They pay a premium, eat without hesitation, for things that buy them time or protect their energy. Business class flights, personal assistance, premium healthcare, because at their effective hourly value, those expenses aren't luxuries, they're leverage. They've stopped trying to impress people. The fancy watch, the flashy car, the designer clothes, that stuff loses its appeal fast when you've actually got the money. Quiet confidence replaces loud signaling. They also keep their own counsel more. They're selective about who they discuss money with. They've learned that most financial advice, even from well-meaning people, comes from people operating at a lower level of the game. And here's something that surprises people. Their daily life doesn't look dramatically different from level 4. The habits are similar. They've just been refined, deepened, and scaled. The mindset at level 5. What is the highest and best use of my time today? And who else can handle everything else? Level 6, generational wealth. $2 million plus per year / $10 million plus net worth. At level 6, the game changes completely because you're no longer playing for yourself. The surprising thing about people who reach true generational wealth, their lifestyle doesn't increase dramatically from level 5. There's a ceiling on how much a human can meaningfully spend before it becomes absurd. The habits here aren't about accumulation anymore. They're about legacy. What does that look like? They think in decades. When someone at level 1 thinks about the future, they're thinking about next month. When someone at level 6 thinks about the future, they're thinking about what kind of world their grandchildren will inherit. That time horizon shapes every decision. They invest in people, not just assets. At this level, the most powerful thing you can do with money is help someone else level up. Funding startups, mentoring entrepreneurs, endowing scholarships. The return isn't financial, it's impact. They protect their circle with extreme discipline. Everyone wants access at this level with a pitch, a favor, and opportunity. Learning to say no gracefully but firmly is a survival skill. And perhaps most importantly, they teach. The people who build generational wealth and actually pass it on aren't just leaving money to their children. They're passing down financial literacy, values, work ethic, and perspective. Because without those things, the money disappears within 2 generations. You've heard the statistic 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation. The habit of teaching is what breaks that cycle. The mindset at level 6, what will outlast me, and am I building it intentionally? Now, the real lesson, what this all means for you. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Every single level of wealth has a ceiling, and that ceiling is made of habits, not income. You can earn more money and still be mentally stuck at level 1. You can have a high salary and still be running level 2 patterns. The number in your bank account is just a reflection of the habits running in the background of your life. And here's the most important thing I can tell you. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to identify the 1 or 2 habits that are most characteristic of your current level and start replacing them with habits from the level above. Avoiding your bank account? Start looking. Weekly, ruthlessly, letting lifestyle inflate with every raise. Automate your savings before you ever see the money. Consuming information but not implementing? Pick one thing and do it this week. Saying yes to everything? Block your calendar and protect your mornings. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's habits. Executed consistently over time, and you can start changing them today. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now. Which level resonated most with you? And more importantly, what's the one habit you know you need to change? Be honest. Nobody's judging here. This comment section is a no judgment zone, and I genuinely read every single one. If this video helped you see something about yourself that you hadn't seen before, share it with someone who needs it. You might be the reason someone else wakes up. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.